Hey guys, welcome to the Daily Dose Thursday, June 11th, 2026. Still just blown away by the Knicks last night. What an extraordinary team that continues to come back from circumstances you would not think any team could come back from. They just do it over and again. So, yeah, I tried to tell myself to stay up last night, even when they're down 29, because, the Knicks, they're just an incredible story. And Brunson, just so amazing, and Anunoby, wow. But today I want to talk about the Packers doing a contract extension with their most dynamic receiver, Christian Watson. You know, we talked about wide receiver salaries going through the roof. You got a couple 40 million guys out there. You've got several 30 million a year guys. You've got high 20 million a year guys. And Watson is this case that's so interesting because as a Packers fan, and I know there are Packer fans watching, there's great talent there, great potential, extremely dynamic, big, physical, and fast, but he misses a lot of time. So availability is an issue. So when I heard about a Christian Watson extension with the Packers, I immediately thought, okay, this sets up for exactly the provisions that I started with the Packers some 20 years ago, 25 years ago, called per game incentives. So the player is going to make his money as long as he's active on game day. These are per game roster incentives. So as long as you're there, you make it. Now, it protects the team from injury, but it gives the player the money he should make just as long as he's on the team healthy. The only way he'd be inactive is an injury. So this is something I started years ago with some players coming off injured seasons, including the biggest free agent signing we had in my time, Charles Woodson, who was coming off some injury seasons. So he could make a lot of money, but he'd have to just be on the roster. Very easy to make, just not be hurt. Well, I look at the contract, it's there. 125,000 per game in per game rosters, which works out to $2 million and change per year in per game rosters. So 125,000 a game is tied to sort of not being injured on game day. It made sense back then. I started it 25 years ago, and they're still doing it. They do it a lot for players that aren't even coming off injuries. So that's a Packers staple now. Also a staple with the Packers is not guaranteeing past the first year. Indeed, not guaranteeing anything but the bonus. This deal has a $31 million bonus, a huge number, easy to get him to entice to do a deal with paying him 31 plus a salary that gives him about $34.5 million this year. And that's the only guarantees. Now, of course, they're not going to cut him after this year, but even if he plays next year, that's another $4 or $5 million. So basically, he's making about $38 million over 2 when these top receivers are making that over 1. So good deal for the Packers. It fits the need for an incredibly potential upside player, but has had injuries. And again, with other receivers getting these huge deals, a very reasonable deal when you get down to it for Green Bay Packers, even though some people say, oh, the guy doesn't play a lot. Well, $2 million a year in these per game roster bonuses, that protects the Packers. All right, have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.